All right. Good morning. So this is our third lesson for today, our third and our last. So I'm just gonna scroll through here real quick. So we're looking at key features of quadratic algebraically. So we have two different forms here. So we've got factored form here, which is x minus a number, x plus a number. When we've got that form, our zeros, so where it crosses that x-intercept is going to be x is equal to s. So keep in mind the sign. So here it's a minus, so it's going to be the opposite here. And x is equal to t, so that's where it would cross the x-axis. To find the vertex, what you're going to do is you just take the s and t and you add them together, and then you're going to divide it by 2. And then you're going to place it in y. And then our y-intercept, we set x as 0 in our equation. For our standard form, we're not able to find zeros. The only way you can find zeros is through the factored form. So that you can't do. Our vertex would be our a times 2 times a. And then you replace that in the equation. And our y-intercept is going to be 0 and that c value that we have here at the end. So I'm going to go through a few examples. I know that's very vague, so I figured I'd do a few examples with you guys, and then you are on your own. And just keep in mind that you do have your test tomorrow. So I'm clearing this and we're doing example 1. Okay, so our first example is f of x equals 2 times x minus 7 times x plus 11. So what we do is we take each bracket and we're going to set it to 0 to find the zeros. So x minus 7 equals 0. To get x on its own, you do the opposite operation on both sides. So this cancels that out, and we are left with 7 as one of our zeros. You would put it in a point form, so it would just look like this. And then you're going to do the same thing for the second bracket. So we've got x plus 11 equals 0. You're going to do the opposite operation. So it's being added here. So we're going to subtract it. Cancels that out. And we are left with negative 11. So negative 11, 0. So those are two zeros. That's where our graph is going to cross the x-axis. Now, to find the vertex, like we said, we're going to do s plus t. So our s is 7 plus our t, which is negative 11. So remember that it's the opposite sign of what's inside that bracket, divided by 2. So we've got 7 take away 11, which is negative 4, divided by 2, which gives us negative 2. From there, what you're going to do, so this is our x value and our point of our vertex, but we need to find that y as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back to that equation and you're going to put negative 2 where there's an x. So 2, negative 2 minus 7, negative 2 plus 11. So negative 2 minus 7 is negative 9. Negative 2 plus 11 is 9. And when you multiply all that together, it gives us negative 162. So you go back to your point here, you're going to write 162. So that's where the vertex would be. So now they want you to FOIL and put it in standard form. So right now we've got 2x minus 7, x plus 11. Wow, I forgot the x here. Okay, so we're going to FOIL inside. So we're going to have 2 and then our bracket, which is x squared minus 4x minus 77. And then you're going to expand that 2 inside the bracket. So you'll have 2x squared minus 8x minus 154. So that is our standard form. To find our y-intercept, you're going to put x as 0 in our equation. So y is equal to 2, 0 minus 7, 0 plus 11. Close that bracket. So negative 7 and 11, and you multiply that all together, and that is going to be 154. Okay, so our point, our y-intercept where it crosses the x-axis, or the y-axis, sorry, is going to be 0, 152. So I'm going to clear that, and we're going to do another example. We've got a few examples to do today. Okay, so here, find the vertex. So it's nice and simple because we have it in vertex form. So this is our h value and this is our k value. All our vertex is that hk. So it's quite simple enough. So it is 2 and 5. So this guy changes signs, this one stays the same, and that's our vertex. Write it in standard form. So you are going to do this part first. You're going to FOIL. So it's important to know that this means that it's x minus 2 times x minus 2. It's not x squared minus 2 squared. Okay, so we are left with x squared plus 4x minus 4, and then plus 5. So then we expand our negative here, so it just changes all the signs inside the bracket. And we're going to put our like terms together. So we are left with this. Again, for the y-intercept, you're going to put x as 0 in our equation. 0 minus 2 squared plus 5. Negative 2 squared plus 5, which is negative 4 plus 5, which is simply 1. So our y-intercept is 0, 1. I'm clearing this. We're going to do another example. Okay, so find the y-intercept. So that's the same thing as we just did. So you're just going to put x as 0 in our equation. It's nice and easy when it's in standard form because it literally just gives you this value, because 0 squared is 0 times 2 is 0, 17 times 0 is 0. So we are left with 21. So our point is 0, 21. Don't worry about this one. You were not taught how to factor this, so don't worry too much about that. And same with the zeros. So just a heads up, if you ever see one that has a number at the front here, and it's not a common factor, do not do it. Okay? Just email me, let me know. It's possible that I made a mistake and I put questions that were not meant for you guys. So I'm clearing this. Same with these guys, we can't find the vertex now. And we cannot find the rest. We can find 4. So 4, what we're going to do is you find your 2x intercepts. So here and here. So we've got negative 4 and 2. And the beauty of that is you just put them in brackets with an x. And that's it. And then standard form, all you do is you FOIL. So it'll give you x squared plus 2x minus 8. We've got one last question here. So it's word problems. Because we're in summer school and we are on a tight schedule, I don't think I'm going to put any word problems in any of the tests or anything, just because I do understand that it is quite difficult for quite a few people. So we have a model rocket that is shown in the air, and its path is approximated by the equation -5t squared plus 30t, where h is the height of the rocket above the ground in meters and t is the time collapsed. So when we look at that in a graph, because it's negative and we know that it's quadratic because there's a 2, we know that it's going to look something like that. So this is where the rocket goes off and it goes up into the air, and at some point gravity takes it back down. So that's how you can think of that. So when will the rocket hit the ground? So those are 2 zeros. That's where these 2 points are. So we're going to put HT as 0. Okay, so you need to factor out the common factor for this guy, and you find your zeros. Okay, so if we factor out a common factor of -5t, we are left with this. And then from there, you set both to 0. This is being multiplied by -5, so we're going to divide both sides by -5. So it cancels it. And 0 divided by -5 is 0. And then t minus 6, sorry, is equal to 0. So we're going to add 6 on both sides. That cancels that out. T is equal to 6. So that means that our rocket is going to start at 0 and land at 6. So it has, that was an awful curve, but it has something of that type. The maximum height of that would be our vertex. So that's this point up here. So we saw that for that, we do s plus t divided by 2. So our s is 0, our t is 6, and then divide by 2. 0 plus 6 is 6, divide by 2 is 3 seconds. Okay, so at 3 seconds, we have to go back to that equation and plug in t is equal to 3 in our equation. So -5 times 3, 3 minus 6. So -5, 3 take away 6 is -3. So -5 times 3 times -6, or times -3 is 45 meters. So the maximum height is 45 meters. So I'm clearing this, and there's just one last question here revolving around this question. So what is the height of the rocket at 4 seconds? So that means that t is equal to 4. So we're going to go back to our equation, which is -5t, t minus 6. And where we have a t, we're going to replace it by 4, and it's going to give us our height. Okay, so -5 times 4 times -2 gives us 40 meters. So it will be at 40 meters at 4 seconds. Okay, so that is all. Keep in mind your test tomorrow. I'm trying to remember, I'm looking at the work package right now. So you have your test and some more practice questions that go with this for tomorrow's work. So there's no new stuff tomorrow or any lessons. Okay, so good luck, have fun. We will speak tomorrow.